Hi, we're John and Sharon, and we own a Greenline 39, and we are taking it around America's Great Loop.
Here's what we love about the Greenline 39 for those who are interested in buying one. The things that we love about the Greenline 39 is its efficiency, the midship door, the full-size fridge, convection microwave, and induction cooking, and its luxury on the water. It's a luxury apartment that we can move from marina to marina and anchor to anchor, and I highly recommend Greenline 39 for anyone who's thinking about purchasing their next boat. John grew up in Lake Macquarie, and in our early years of marriage we would be swimming in the morning and then skiing and then windsurfing in the afternoon, and Lake Macquarie, we always felt, was a huge body of water that we could enjoy.
We've always enjoyed adventure boating, camping out, exploring new places, all the way from small dinghies, sailing boats, catamarans, through bow riders, offshore boats. So this was a great step for us to just look for an adventure that would really give us a great kickstart for our next phase in life, which is retirement, and give us a great opportunity to see more of this wonderful planet.
We retired and then 2 days later we landed in Miami. We were commissioning the boat, our brand new Greenline 39. So that in itself, when you say it out loud, it's like, what an amazing way to start the next period of our life.
So the loop itself has a certain envelope which suits a particular style of boat, and there's a fixed bridge in Chicago, so there's some height limitations that determine if you can actually get through. As well as that, the Greenline fitted well. The draft under the propeller was perfect at 2'11". The systems were really perfect for this solution in terms of the solar power on the roof, and having a boat that was particularly self-sufficient in power and very economical to run, very safe to operate, and gave us the helm door so we could operate it together as a crew, and we could manage all of those locks very carefully and very easily. They were a couple of highlights. Apart from that, the boat is just well suited to spending time on as two of us. We've had four for 6 weeks at a time. It's been great. On top of that, the boat systems and the way the boat works, it just works beautifully. Has been great.
For a start, we were amazed that this boat has a king-size bed, so it actually needs king-size sheets. And we got the measurements from yachts, which was very helpful before we left to pick up the boat, so at least we'd be able to sleep on the boat the first night. So it has a large bed that is very comfortable. I thought I may need some cushion covers or something to give it a little bit more of a plush sleep, but it's a very comfortable sleep, and which is important when you're cruising all day and you need that good night's sleep. And living on the boat, the kitchen facilities, the full-size fridge, the induction stovetop, and the convection microwave make cooking so easy. Everything that I make at home, I can cook on the boat. So it's not restrictive at all, especially with the convection microwave does beautiful choc chip cookies or whatever you would bake in your kitchen at home. We found it really easy to use, and we did purchase an induction kettle to use instead of having an electric kettle. We've got the induction stove, so we have an induction kettle. We also purchased a coffee machine, which has been a huge bonus, so we enjoy coffee every morning. As we're cruising along, if we want a snack, it's easy to grab a drink out of the fridge and enjoy snacks along the way. I actually sometimes prepare our meal, lunch/dinner, as we're cruising, and that saves on power as well because we're using the engine to do the cooking. Then when you've pulled up or anchored, and you can sit out the back of the boat and have a cold drink and just enjoy whatever waterway you're on. So that's been great. Said to John, 2 deck chairs would be perfect for out the back. We often just have them set up at the back of the boat, and while John's cruising, I might sit out there for a while and watch the water go by. So 2 deck chairs out the back and a small table that folds away has been lovely. Also, the convivial lounge seating. If you're having a meal with friends, it's very easy to sit around the table and enjoy. Also, we enjoy sitting at the front of the boat. It's got some lovely cushioning, and it's nice to occasionally sit out there and wave to anybody that's passing by on the riverbank, and so that's been good as well. The bathroom with the full-size shower is such a great feature, and everything is very easy to keep clean and serviceable so that you are really enjoying life. That's how we've found living on the boat's been. It's very easy.
The battery system combined with the solar and the inverter to drive the air conditioning and the convection microwave, the refrigerator, the induction stove, all of that is becoming more widely available. Greenline have been operating and using that for a lot longer than most manufacturers. So the experience in that space is considerable. Hybrid is one step further than that. We decided not to take advantage of that for this trip for particular reasons. This trip involves long distances, but the integration of the kitchen and the batteries and the solar meant that it would operate really well away from the dock, away from the marina, and we could stay off grid for as long as we needed, and in some cases for a week, 2 weeks without any concerns.
Yeah.
The trip involved some fairly long distances. So we've covered 3,500 nautical miles in 150 days, and some of that we've stopped for a couple of weeks at a time in different places. To do the loop is approximately 5,000 nautical miles.
Yeah.
So some of those days are 160 nautical miles in length, and we would need to have the Greenline up and running. Runs beautifully at 16, 17 knots, which we found was a great speed to run for 8 or even 10 hours in a day if we needed to cover a long distance. And one of the days we had to do that. We had an offshore weather window to get into New York, and so we started at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we were in New York Harbour by sunset, 7 p.m. That night. Passed a couple of whales on the way, and just had a great run. If we'd have had to slow down, we would have had to wait maybe a 7-10 day wait before we got that window again. So that was one of the reasons why it's really worked for us. The hybrid has a combination of features that 16 knots would be what's called wide open throttle on a hybrid. Wide open throttle on a diesel only with the upgraded Yanmar is 26 knots. So we can run the boat quite quickly at 16 knots without stressing the engine and without stressing us if it's good weather. A lot of the Great Loop is made up of inland waterways which are speed limited. So they were 6 or 8 knots limit, and we could get very good efficiency from the diesel only while charging up the house batteries through the solar. Other days where we had a large body of water to cross, we would use the boat at 16 knots, and we would use between 35 and 40 litres per hour in those runs, and we would cover a lot of ground. So that helped us to keep efficiency at low speed and be able to cover those large runs where we needed to. The fuel curve, from my calculations, from 12 to 18 knots is very flat. It will run at very good efficiency all the way from 12 to 18 knots. Below 10 knots, you can see single-digit litres per hour, which is very efficient. So it will use as low as 3 litres per hour at around 6 knots. So it's actually very, very efficient until you obviously want to go really fast. But even at planing speed, with a single diesel and with the boat in good condition, it's a very efficient machine. Yes. Living aboard, from a perspective of getting to shore, we like to anchor out. Probably it's worked more than half the time we've been able to anchor. And so we've purchased a tender, a dinghy, True Kit dinghy from New Zealand, and an e-propulsion motor. We've got an abundance of electrical power due to the solar panels. We can just charge up our motor while we travel, and it's fully ready for any short trips or exploring that we do. And we can actually store that in the lazarette. There's a lot of good space down there. We've actually worked out we can keep it on the transom, which is fairly short, but we can keep it there. So it's been a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to the Bahamas, where we'll use that a lot more as well.
I hadn't considered air conditioning as an essential, because in Australia, when you're on the boat, there's always a nice breeze and you can cool down, but I think having the air conditioning on the boat is just so lovely. And when you've been driving all day and you stop at a destination, it's very nice to feel refreshed, and so that's been an added bonus that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, from my perspective, it just does everything without any fuss. You can dock the boat with the bow and stern thrusters and a single engine so easily, and it runs so efficiently. It just does everything without a lot of fuss, and we're able to maneuver it into some very tight marinas. For 150 days we've stopped at many different docks and marinas, and we'll see a small town at lunchtime or morning tea. We'll stop there, and it's a new dock, a new tide, a new current, new wind, a new place, and it's just so forgiving in manoeuvring it in close quarters. It's been a real pleasure to drive this boat. The comments we've had have been fairly universal. They love the European design. It's very different to the local American boats. They're designed with a fair bit of style and flair, and they look great. And that's one of the comments we got over again. The second one we've touched on, which was the efficiency and the use of the solar. A lot of Americans are trying to convert their boats how to become more effective and efficient. and this one does it from the get-go, and so the Greenline is just a long way ahead of where the general market is in America. So they are fascinated by those aspects.
And when we pull into a marina, a lot of people ask John, oh, how does your boat work? And when John explains about the solar that we have on the roof that powers all of our kitchen needs and powers the boat for us as far as our living, people are amazed, and then they say, where's the generator? And we say, no, there's no generator. And it's such a great feature.
The Greenline is very different to a lot of American boats. They are designed in the past around traditional multiple engines, including generators, very little solar, and so the Greenline is the modern equivalent of a boat that really works well in those environments. No generator, full solar top. It really works well, and it's a complete opposite to a lot of the boats doing the loop that have not taken advantage of those great features. So we've really enjoyed that part of it. On top of that, E-Yachts was a fantastic support for us. Their knowledge and experience in getting the boat delivered to the United States, getting it commissioned, getting it ready for us in a very short period was fantastic. So we knew the experience that E-Yachts had, and we're very happy to select that as part of the choice that we made.